The bell above the diner door chimed softly as the old woman was wheeled inside. Her hair was silver, neatly pinned, and her hands trembled slightly on the blanket covering her knees. Everyone knew her as Grandma Eleanor, the matriarch of a wealthy family, though illness had slowly stolen her strength. She had not wanted to come out that day, but something restless pulled at her heart. Her grandson insisted on lunch at a small roadside diner, thinking the familiar warmth might lift her spirits. Eleanor's eyes wandered gently around the room, absorbing small details with quiet curiosity. Then she saw the waitress. The young woman froze mid-step, holding a tray of steaming cups. Her eyes were deep and expressive, a soft brown edged with sorrow and kindness. Eleanor's breath caught sharply, her fingers tightening on the wheelchair arm as if struck by a sudden memory she had buried decades ago. "You have my daughter's eyes," Eleanor whispered, barely louder than the clink of silverware. The waitress looked up, startled. For a moment, the diner noise faded, and only their gazes remained locked. Something passed between them, confusion, recognition, and an ache neither could explain. The tray trembled slightly before the waitress steadied herself. Eleanor's grandson frowned. "Grandma, are you all right?" he asked, worried she might be hallucinating again. But Eleanor didn't respond. Tears welled in her eyes as she studied the young woman's face, searching for lost time and unanswered prayers. The waitress swallowed hard. I'm sorry," she said softly. "Do you need anything else?" Her voice shook, though she couldn't explain why. She had heard strange comments before, but this felt different, heavier, like a door opening inside her chest. "No," Eleanor said gently. "I just lost someone a long time ago." The waitress nodded politely and walked away, but her heart raced. She had grown up in foster homes, carrying only fragments of her past. No photos, no real name until she was given one. Her mother had vanished when she was only a baby, leaving behind questions that never slept. Eleanor couldn't eat. Her mind spiraled backward through memory, her daughter Lily, who ran away at 17, pregnant and terrified. Eleanor had searched for years, only to be met with silence. One day, the letters stopped coming, and hope slowly learned to be quiet. "Bring her back," Eleanor murmured. Her grandson hesitated, then motioned for the waitress. When she returned, Eleanor reached out, her frail hand trembling. "What is your name, dear?" she asked, voice thick with emotion. "Emma," the waitress replied. Eleanor closed her eyes. Lily had always said she would name her daughter Emma. The air felt too still. Emma laughed nervously. "That's a common name," she said, trying to brush off the moment, but Eleanor shook her head slowly, tears slipping down her cheeks. "May I see your birthmark?" Eleanor asked suddenly. "Behind your ear." Emma stiffened. No one knew about that mark. Hesitantly, she tucked her hair back. Eleanor gasped softly, her hand flying to her mouth as if to stop her heart from breaking all over again. "That mark," Eleanor whispered. "Lily had the same one." The diner seemed to disappear. Emma's knees weakened and she gripped the table for support. "My mother's name was Lily," she said, barely audible. "That's all I know." Eleanor sobbed openly now, clutching Emma's hand. Years of guilt, regret, and longing poured out in broken cries. "She was my daughter," Eleanor said. "And you are my granddaughter." Emma's world tilted. She had imagined many endings to her story, but never this, never warmth instead of abandonment. Tears streamed down her face as she knelt beside the wheelchair, heart finally recognizing what logic couldn't deny. Eleanor told her everything, the fear, the pride, the mistakes, the endless searching. Emma listened, each word stitching together pieces of herself she never knew were missing. For the first time, her past wasn't empty. It was simply waiting. They talked until the diner closed. Phone numbers were exchanged. hands held tightly as if either might vanish if released. Eleanor smiled more that day than she had in years, her eyes finally at peace. In the weeks that followed, Emma visited Eleanor daily. She met family members who welcomed her with disbelief and joy. Old photographs revealed familiar smiles, reflections of herself scattered across generations. Eleanor grew weaker, but happier. One quiet evening, she pressed Emma's hand into her chest and whispered, "Finding you healed something I thought was forever broken." When Eleanor passed away peacefully a month later, Emma stood at her grave, grief and gratitude intertwined. She had lost a grandmother, but gained a history, a name, and a place where she belonged. And every time Emma looked into a mirror, she no longer saw a mystery staring back. She saw Lily's eyes. She saw Eleanor's love. She saw herself, complete at last.